meeting is being recorded.
Boom! Welcome back to the Bodhi Bros. I am John with a J.
And I am Phoenix Ray.
Oh shit!
I don't know why I signed it, but
I know that's what slowed me down at first because you were doing this, and I'm like, wait, should I hold up? What is he saying?
I don't know because I'm holding the mic in one hand just so like, and then I'm just like, so I had one hand, I didn't know what to do with the other one.
Aloha. So why are you holding a mic?
It just goes a little closer to me. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Well, we're both still experimenting with new setups and stuff. I was just telling Ray that I used to view us on a screen this big, like a little laptop, and now I'm using the home TV theater thing, so it's like huge. So we're still, but it's an upgrade, at least for my. Now I have. There's no Wi-Fi situation on my end now, which as a host I think is super important, and maybe that'll negate any of the connectivity issues that I had with. That we thought was on your end may have this whole time been on my end because maybe the Wi-Fi was just not enough to keep you in the picture. We'll see.
I don't know. We'll find out.
We will. So yeah, I'm hardline now, straight to the source. So that's good. All right. So here we go. We decided to do another video review, taking us back to our Bodhi roots, if you will. And Ray, as always, selected a video. We try to keep them as not too long as possible, so that it gives you an opportunity, if you'd like, either before or after the podcast to watch the video. And this one was what, about 10 minutes?
8 minutes.
8. Oh yeah, quick one. And yeah. It was by Dr. Dain Heer, Heer. I'll put the information in the video.
With a little sprinkle of Gary Douglas too. They were the co-founders of Access Consciousness.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I was introduced to them when I got my Access Bars training. So Access Bars is just one tool of Access Consciousness, but there's plenty more tools and guides and everything and lessons that they teach. So part of the training was I watched the video by them and explaining Access Bars and stuff. And then I started getting more into Access Consciousness and watching their videos. So when I was looking for a video to do, I'm like, we got to do this. And then I was also inspired because the video that we reviewed is, what does the earth know about you? And I picked that one too because I see a lot of your posts on Facebook of you at the beach. So I was kind of inspired by your beach like pictures, and I said like, this is in John's wheelhouse. I'm like, I could see you like taking this and sailing with this one. So
I've finally inspired someone with my posts. Yes, that was the goal, man, to reach one person. And knowing that it's you, well, my work here. Have I lost you? Are you there? Can you hear me? Check. You can hear me?
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. We good.
All right, lost Ray for a second there. Knowing that I'm finally able to confirm that I've reached one person, my work here is done. Yes. Well, thanks for saying that, man, because that's really why I post. It's not to show off that I live in paradise or like anything like that. It's just to help inspire people to maybe consider doing something that really fills me up, and that's connecting with nature, Mother Earth, and sometimes even people along the way. So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's jump into this because it's only 8 minutes. And so what happens is well, Ray, talk about your process. Like you said about
a lot of this video, and if you know anything about access consciousness is all about staying in the question. It's not so much having, because when you have answers, you have certainties, that closes your consciousness. And when you stay in a question, that's what expands you. So a lot of access consciousness is just asking the right question and staying in the question. So most of this video is made up of just very brilliant questions, I think, of, what does the earth know about me? What does the earth know about me personally? Right. And it's meant to just inspire and let those things come up. It's not even really about having a concrete answer.
Mm,
It's just about sitting with the question, allowing that question to expand your consciousness, and let whatever comes up, whatever resistance happens. And when I first listened to this, it kind of brought up some resistance that I had around receiving that I didn't really know that I had.
mm,
And it wasn't so much about what does the earth know about me. I didn't really connect so much with the earth part. It was just more about stuff that I've had in my life about receiving, and trauma that I had about receiving. And I kind of think that's sort of a big problem in our society, is that, a lot of times people say, oh, we need to start, give more, giving is better. And we kind of say this giving is more important than receiving. It's kind of looked upon better. You're a giver, not a, we kind of label stuff about receiving as maybe sometimes being selfish. So maybe we don't receive fully because we think that makes us selfish. So we could have a lot of trauma around receiving. We maybe
sure.
have a low self-worth,
Yeah.
and someone tries to give you something and you don't feel worthy of it.
Mm.
You don't feel you deserve it. Or somebody could give you something, but maybe in the past when you
Oh no. Oh no. No.
feel obligated to give back to that person.
We lost you for a second, Ray. The connection.
Okay.
So I guess we're still battling with some issues of connectivity. All right. Just back up like maybe 10 seconds.
Well, I mean, there's some other, I was just going over some trauma of receiving that we could have. Like sometimes we may have received something in the past from somebody, and now we feel obligated
Mm,
because you give somebody something, now you feel obligated. Oh, I have to give something back now. I have to return the favor. So sometimes we don't want to receive something because we see receiving something as sort of getting a burden. Now we're burdened, and now we have to do something now. We feel entitled that we have to give back to that person or do something for them to return the favor, and we just
mm,
can't receive unconditionally. So
mm,
it kind of sparked some stuff in me that of receiving. And I know in the past I had some self-worth issues when I was younger, and I think that blocked some stuff. Because I mean, you think about it too. Some people can't receive a compliment. So
it's
you
true.
you compliment somebody, and some people get paranoid. They think, oh, hey, you look good today. Oh, really? Oh, is that person really being truthful?
Right. What do
Are
they
they really
want?
messing with
What do
me?
you want? What do you want?
Yeah, what do you want? It's not, we just can't receive.
Mm, oh, wow. Um, that's awesome that this 8-minute video brought so much awareness and understanding for you, and in in a totally different direction that it did for me. And so when I first put the video on, I did think about what you said. I was like, did he pick this because he knows that I would dig this jam? And I'm like, I think maybe he did. So the very first thing, let me back up for a second. The fact that you said that access consciousness is all about questions and leaving it open and not searching necessarily for a definitive answer or whatever. That's awesome, because I started taking notes. And again, it's only like an 8-minute video, but all of my notes were just questions that he was asking during the video. Like that was my notes, the ones that I thought, oh, this is a good question. But I didn't know anything about the foundation of which access consciousness is that you just explained. So that's kind of cool that my notes just ended up being questions. Nothing on my pad here is a statement. It's just more questions. So I like that. When the video first started, he's like, and it's pretty simple. He's like, are you, and these are my words, not his words, right? Are you talking to the earth? Why are you not talking to the earth? Like, go talk to the earth. Like, and if you have in the past, awesome. Here's a gentle invitation / reminder to go do it again. Because there's infinite conversations. Wait, do you think that the earth doesn't have anything to say to you? Do you not understand that this relationship is as important as any other relationship that you have with yourself, your family, friends, other people? Like, you and earth are like, should be tight, right? So
Right.
just go out there and start the dialogue. You know, like people say, oh, I talk to trees, you know, I have a tree, I'll talk to a tree, or animals, right? It's, yeah, that's part of the earth, right? So embracing the earth as a whole and going in, and one of the questions was, and I only wrote down about 5 or 6 here. Is there something available to create that's never been created before? I thought that was very profound and powerful. Like, don't ask your neighbor, don't ask Phoenix Ray or John with J. Ask the earth. You know, like, hey, what haven't we done? And then sit back and listen. Right? It might not come to you in that moment or in a heartbeat. It may take a few weeks, you know, to go through all the channels in the network, but it might come back and then boop, oh, I have something in my inbox from the earth. Whoa, I wonder if this has ever been done. Maybe it hasn't. It probably hasn't, since it just popped into my consciousness now, because you deposited that question, and earth answered when earth was ready, or you were ready to receive the answer, I should say.
Right.
So I thought that was cool. And then with that question, I'll turn it back over to you, Ray. What points of view can you change for you that will help create a sustainable living earth for the next 10,000 years? And to add to that, what could you choose to do today that will allow this to change right away? So if there's something happening to the earth, on the earth, around the earth, whatever, that doesn't feel good for you, well, or that seems like we're being wasteful or hurtful or whatever the case may be, what can we do? That in 10,000 years we can look back and go, thank goodness, we did this.
Yeah, I like that. It kind of goes when he talks about having a sustainable earth. What change can you do today that you could just change one molecule, one small change.
Right.
And it says, and I think that we just approach that a lot of times in our own lives, especially this time of the year, end of the year. You know, we start the New Year's resolutions, and we say, I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna go on a low carb diet. I'm gonna work out 6 days a week.
Right.
I'm gonna run a mile every morning, and we come up with all these changes we're gonna make about ourselves.
Yeah.
And then what usually happens 3 weeks in, we kind of just we kind of collapse because we're trying to do too much. And sometimes the big change is it just comes with changing one thing, one small change. One small change can set the pace for the next. Well, it said in here, 10,000 years of the earth, but even just your life.
Yeah, because we're ripples.
Just make one small change.
Yeah, because we're ripples too, and we do affect the people around us, especially those that are most close to us, like our children, or our neighbors, our family, whatever the case may be. And let's use 2 quick examples. One could be you start recycling. Maybe a lot of households have the bins or whatever, but maybe you just do a little more. Maybe you're actually more actively taking that stuff to the curb, or doing stuff, whatever in your community makes sense to elevate that just a little bit. And that doesn't, again, that's not a huge New Year's resolution or anything like that, but just a baby step. One of the things that you've seen me do, Ray, are these like just random beach cleanups. I have my Lowe's 5-gallon bucket, and I have one of those little trash grabber things, and I just go, right? I don't pick up tons of trash. Is my tiny contribution going to save all the sea turtles and help clean up the shore? Maybe. All I did was I saw, like, when I was walking on the beach, right? And we talk about the give and the receive. The beach gives me so much, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I think I said at one point, like, how can I give back? And the answer came instantly, because I looked down and there was this bottle cap, and I'm like, okay, like, one bottle cap at a time, right? And maybe I pick up 3 to 5 pounds of garbage total, right? Maybe that's it. It's not tons or whatever. But what also happens is what happened to me that kind of persuaded the idea too, is I saw this couple doing it a few times, which was neat, because it was at 2 totally different beaches on 2 totally separate sides of town, right? And it was like a few weeks apart, and I was like, that's the couple that walks around with a plastic bag and just throws trash. They don't use gloves or anything. I was like, my God, they're hardcore, man. I'm not touching the trash tray. I'm using the grabber, right? But they're like picking up trash, storing their plastic bag. And I'm like, that's so beautiful. So they touched me. And when the time was right, the earth kind of piggybacked on that and said, hey, you remember the couple? There's a bottle cap right there. There's your answer. And maybe just the act and the action of doing it, a little kid sees me doing it, or another couple sees, what I'm doing, and it affects them in the way that that couple initially affected me, right?
Yeah, even though your action was maybe small, you could inspire someone, even somebody young may see that and be like, wow, that guy is cleaning the beach. You know what? I want to grow up and do something for the earth. And you don't know where that's gonna take. It kind of reminds me of that movie, The Butterfly Effect.
I didn't see
Have you
that.
seen that movie?
No.
Well, it's an older movie. It's a good movie. It's like this guy's able to go back in time, but when he goes back in time, it talks about just making one little small change. One little change can just completely change someone's life. So it says, I think the butterfly effect, it talks about like how I don't remember what the quote, like a tsunami across the earth could be caused by the flaps of a butterfly wing. Yeah.
I have no idea. I just changed. I have 3 backgrounds I'm cycling
So
through. I
you
had to
don't,
go.
so even one little small action can have this huge, major effect on this world. So maybe even that one small thing that we do is just to live with an open heart,
Right.
and just one act of kindness can one act of kindness a day can completely change the world.
Yeah.
Just one act.
Yeah. And it doesn't
Just
have to
one
be,
act.
like I said, I saw someone do something, right? And my hopes is that someone will see me, right? But it doesn't have to work that way. It's not about look at me, to be clear. Look at me, look what I'm doing. You should do the same.
Right. It's not ego.
It's right. It's about the open heart. It's about the energy, right? And it's about the exchange too with Mother Earth, because I'm honoring that dialogue that I had with the Earth, right? I was like, hey, what can I do? And the Earth's like, oh, we've been hanging out for 48 years now. You seem to like walking. You love the beach. Why not every once in a while when you come here, just pick up some trash? And I'm like, all right. And that's it. That comes that I think that's a very healthy give and receive, right? Because some people struggle with one or the other, they feel guilty or shame. But in this instance, I had so much gratitude for the beach, right? And I don't feel like, okay, I have to give back because I'm taking so much. It's just a no-brainer. It's just a thing that you feel where you're like, God, when you have that gratitude, I think for anyone or anything, right? You're like, what can I do? And it comes from a very healthy place, right? Versus a guilt
Yeah.
or obligation, or it's just like it happens in the flow of things.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, all of them teachers say that when you go through an awakening and you become more spiritual, you end up committing yourself to acts of service towards
Mm,
others. But the service isn't coming from what can I get out of this, or
right.
trying to look special or look spiritual. It's a very pure intent of giving, of serving others, because you recognize your connection with all things, with all life and all beings.
Mm,
I kind of experienced that. I sort of had a nature experience when I was on the Jack Kornfield retreat. Part of it, we were outside, and I was in this area with a lot of trees, and I was meditating outside, and kind of like what the video says. I kind of got asked like the nature of, how can I serve you? And I kind of had this discussion talking with the earth, and I was with all these trees, and I felt like I was sort of like their visitor. And they kind of told me that they feel compassion towards it wasn't just me, it was just towards humans, that they
mm,
felt compassion towards us, because they recognize their oneness with each other, that they're all interconnected, whereas we all see each other as separate. And
wow.
they sort of look down. I almost felt like they like looked down on us, like they felt compassion, like this. Oh, we really wish you people would recognize that you're all connected to each other. Or these trees, they all recognize these trees and these bushes and the ground and the sky. They all recognize that they're all interconnected, and they wish the same for us.
Yeah.
And I got that message, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful message.
Mm, mm.
And yeah, I think that's one of the things that I got. It reminded me of listening to this video. It kind of brought me back to that moment on that retreat.
And what you're sharing kind of brings up a reminder for me too. And I'm sure tons of folks out there potentially listening is, especially when we struggle with depression or loneliness, and maybe someone reaches out and says, hey, you're not alone, and a lot of us want to fight back and go, yes, I am alone, that's the problem, right? Like, I'm still alone. Maybe one of the remedies for that pain, that struggle that you're going through, is to go outside and connect with someone, something so beautiful and so powerful. Maybe it's not the whole earth, because that's overwhelming. Maybe it's a singular tree, or a body of water, whatever the case may be. And and that's, I think, a lot of times, when someone offers that loving nudge or a gentle reminder that you're not alone, maybe necessarily they're not referring to another human, because a lot of times when you're going through it, it's hard to be with any other human, let alone yourself.
Yeah,
And maybe nature can be the best medicine, and your best friend, and and in those times of struggle. I wasn't really thinking in terms of that until you shared what you shared, so thank you for that. One of the other questions was that I liked was, what is the earth trying to show you or tell you that you keep trying not to be aware of?
mm,
And then the follow-up was like, what is the earth trying to give to you that you do everything possible not to receive it? And
those are some great questions.
yeah, I'll go first, and then if you have something that you want to throw on it, like, please.
Okay.
And mine is, I, I struggle, and have for a long time, for many reasons, with taking my shoes off and walking in nature. Um, for many years, it was for health reasons. Like, my feet really hurt, and I had arthritis and gout and all sorts of stuff. But I've since cleared that. There are still portions, aspects of me that have reservations, like, oh, I'm going to hurt my feet. Oh, I need the support of the shoe. But when I'm on the beach, man, yes, I still do it. And a lot of my trepidation comes from fear, not of the beach or Mother Earth, but of my fellow man and woman. Like, what kind of garbage have they left on the beach that I'm going to step on if I'm barefoot? All right. But what I'm working on now is surrendering and releasing myself from the prison of that mentality, those limiting beliefs, and trusting that Mother Earth will cradle me. She'll guide my footsteps to places of safety and confidence, versus, oh, I'm going to step on a syringe. Well, I mean, like, if I'm programming myself to think that, my feet are probably going to end up stepping on something, because that's the energy that I'm putting out there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I think the gift is that connection, right? Because I'm damming the flow with my shoes. And one of the most profound things that we can do in talking to the earth is to open those channels. It's called earthing, or people say they go barefoot to ground, because it's so powerful. And when I do it, I'm always reminded, oh, John, you have to do this more. Like, you have to do it. But there's definitely a resistance in me. And like you said, sometimes we just struggle with receiving. And maybe for me, part of it, aside from the safety and the fears of stepping on things, and the health of my feet or whatever, is that I don't entirely feel deserving of all of these gifts that Mother Earth is trying to present to me through this channel of my open, physical body, right? And I think that's part of it. Like, oh, I'm not worthy. That's a lot. Whoa, man. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah,
and
absolutely.
so and so and so I need to be open to being more mindful of that, and loving around that, not
Right.
denied to
Can,
someone's
can, can you
personal.
can you read those questions to me again? So
Yeah, yeah.
it's like when I hear the question, then I kind of get the.
Sure.
It's hard to answer it right now after. I mean, what you said is beautiful, but it's like it's hard for me to get back into the question
Yeah.
state.
Let's do it. It's the two-pronger. So, and you can answer either one or both of them. Is what is the earth trying to show you or tell you that you keep trying not to be aware of? And what is the
I would say for that is my uniqueness and my strengths.
wow.
And I think it's just showing me. I think that I've definitely gone into this, but in the past though, we have all that stuff that makes us weird, right? I guess it's
Hopefully,
embracing my weirdness.
hopefully.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all that stuff that makes us weird, and
Yeah.
so I think that's really what it was showing me was
Mm,
that I could be myself and still be lovable.
that's wonderful. That's
That I'm lovable just the way I am.
that's wunderbar.
And what was the second one? The
Um,
what?
what is the earth trying to gift to you that you do everything not to receive it? Like la 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 la. Yeah, I know you're trying to give this to me, but
You know what? Okay, obviously I don't live in a tropical area like you, but I do have nature. I do have nature around me. I have the metro parks, which are maybe 5 minutes, 2 minutes away from me, which I never go to.
okay.
And I have this, so I have nature around me, and I don't take advantage of it. And I would like to go maybe doing some hikes in the woods or going out more and experiencing nature.
Hmm.
It's just sometimes hard finding the time, but that's just an excuse. I could do it on my days off. It may not be always practical when it's 0 degrees out, snow, but in the spring and the summer, there's plenty of nature around me that's a short drive away that I could go to, and I think that's what I'm resisting, and that is just admiring the nature around me and the gifts that are right here.
Do you have an awareness as to why you might be in resistance to that?
Mm, I think sometimes because I would have to go by myself, which it shouldn't really matter, but
Oh no, I mean that is precisely what it is, then that's what it is, right? I mean
yeah, it
that's
is what it is, right?
right. And we talked about like being alone and not wanting to be alone. And so, huh. Yeah, I can relate to that because all these posts or whatever that you see from me and all these these shares and tropical paradise or whatever, it's it, quite often I'm like, man, I wish someone was here to share this with me, you know. And it's beautiful to connect to all the elements and all of what nature is offering and to myself, right? It's great meditation, it's great healing, it's all that stuff. But it is nice to be with someone. Um,
Yeah,
and maybe it may be in those moments of a human aloneness, we can set intentions to manifest that very companionship, perhaps. And I mean, it doesn't have to be romantic. Like
right.
you have a significant otter that you like to swerve around
Right.
town with, and life in general. Maybe it's just a friend. Maybe it's
Yeah, but I think that's what kind of keeps me from on my days off
yeah.
by myself, going to the park, going to the woods, going on a hike because I would be by myself.
Mm,
So that's where my resistance is.
mm. Very cool. Did you have anything else on your no, I've exhausted all the questions that I wrote down. Did you have anything else on yours? Because we have
Not
about
really.
seven
I
seven
I
minutes.
enjoyed this video. I can't see how you could not enjoy this video.
Right?
Really. I
Unless
mean,
you're
if you don't like this
anti-Earth.
video,
You're
I would
anti-Earth.
say there's something that you need to work on. If you're resistant to this video,
Yeah.
it's all
Man.
about just staying in the
Earth,
questioning and,
man.
and letting those questions hit you and allowing whatever to surface come up.
Yeah.
So this could be a good video to watch maybe a couple times a year and just listen to it and see where it takes you.
And maybe if you do have resistance to it, and you're like, screw this video, man. Fuck Earth, man. Earth has been shitting all over me my whole life, man. Earth ain't nothing with, but a whatever, bleep, 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 right? And maybe you take that opportunity to explore why your relationship with Earth is so toxic. Where does that come from? Why are you battling Earth? but hey, maybe someone is, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, like, we all have our struggles, and
Right.
and you know what? Sometimes the Earth does sting you, through whether it's a creature or a sunburn or whatever the case may be. And so if you do have trepidation about getting out
Could
there,
be a natural disaster.
yeah, that too.
I mean, you get hurricanes.
That's a really good point. So we're not, please just know that we're not laughing at anyone that has these fears at all. In fact, we just kind of unearthed something gigantic, a natural disaster could have you very bitter at the Earth. Like, why did you do this to me and my family? And
Right.
so it could, if you don't have a healthy relationship with the Earth, maybe this is a really good video to say, hey, what can we do to amend that? How can we come back together?
Yeah. True.
Look at us learning together and shit, right? That's why I did, man. That's why I was rushing home from where I was, because I was like, man, I gotta get there. I gotta get to this. This is an important time of my week, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. I know it's about this video. I don't know what we're gonna unearth, but for me, it's always, I know I say this all the time, but just feel you should know one more time, man. I love these talks because I always learn something. I always feel like I can allow my inner weirdness to connect with your inner weirdness. That's why we're friends. And, it's always safe, and it's always, I was going to say, sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree. We rarely disagree. I think that's
very rarely.
It's very rarely. And I think that's a beautiful part of our relationship.
We may have different perspectives or different opinions on something, but it's not really a disagreement.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever had, like, you're like, I love this video, I hated it. Even something simple as that, like, that even rarely happens. So you are a special part of my life, man.
Thank you.
Same. From my heart to yours, I am eternally grateful. And on that note, from our hearts to your hearts, get out there, get under the sun, get under a tree. And as you know, Ray, I like to say, shoot, get under the one you love and connect. Like, all the gifts are there. Just get out there and do it. I know sometimes it's hard. Please,
Earth is your friend.
Yes. Please challenge yourselves to make new friends, make new connections, revisit the old ones that have always been there and never gone away. We love you all. Thank you for tuning in. All the information will be down below for the other videos, blah, blah, where to connect with us, yada, yada. Ray, do you have any parting thoughts?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
All right. That's why I love this guy, because he is good. He's the goodest. I'm John with a J.
Phoenix Ray.
We'll see you next time.